Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. So, we're starting our second round previews for the 2024 playoffs with an absolute banger here to start off. We have the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers. It's undisputed. This is probably going to be one of the best series of the playoffs. These are the two best teams in the Eastern Conference, arguably the two best teams in the NHL, and only one of them can move on. So, this is going to be a very fun series. So, these teams have played. The last time they played, it was 2022. The Rangers won in 7 games. A lot has changed since then, even though it was only 2 years ago. So the Rangers finished with the best record in the NHL with a 55-23-4 record for 114 points. They were first in the NHL. They beat Washington 4-0 in a series. So the Rangers had the President's Trophy winning year. They played absolutely awesome. They swept the Capitals. Even though the Capitals made them work for it, the Rangers still did a very good job at sweeping the Capitals. The Hurricanes, however, they still had a really good year as well. They were 52-23-7 for 111 points. They were third in the NHL. They beat the Islanders in 5 games. So when you're looking at that, the Hurricanes only finished 3 points behind them, so it wasn't that large of a gap overall between these two teams. That is why I think this series could bode for a very fun 7 games if it goes that length. Power plays, the Rangers have a 26.4 power play percentage, which is ranked 3rd in the regular season. The Hurricanes had a 26.9, which is ranked 2nd. So only beat them out there by 0.5. So honestly, I'm not too worried about that, but definitely that is something you want to keep in mind in terms of power play percentage. Penalty kill percentage, the Rangers had a 84.5 penalty kill, which was 3rd, and the Hurricanes had an 86.4, which is 1st. So, in terms of that, it's good to have one of the better penalty kills playing against one of the better power plays, too. Especially for the Hurricanes. With the Rangers being really good on the power play, and them being better on that than 5v5, I definitely think that could be an advantage that the Hurricanes have if they can kill out the penalties for the Rangers. But once the Rangers start going, it's pretty hard to stop them. So, in the sweep, I'll get into the sweep here. The Capitals definitely outworked the Rangers a little bit, but I do think, though, that the Rangers played as good as they could have and obviously won the series. With the Islanders series, the Islanders took one in double overtime, but it realistically could have been a sweep as much as it could have been a 5-game series, so I'm not too worried about that there when I'm looking at Carolina. In terms of scores, we're going to start off with the Rangers here. You got Artemi Panarin, who in the regular season had 49 goals, 71 assists for 120 points. He had 3 points in the playoffs so far. So Panarin's had himself a awesome regular season. In the playoffs, there's been a worry, though, that there's more to be desired there. I do think that as the playoffs progress along, he'll get better, but definitely if the Rangers want to go far and they want to go and win the Stanley Cup, they're going to need Panarin to show up, essentially. And that's been the issue in previous years. Panarin hasn't shown up. Vincent Trocheck, second in scoring, 25 goals, 52 assists for 77 points in the regular season. He has 6 points in the playoffs. So Trocheck, playing his former team here, when he was asked about that, he said that it's just another playoff series. And with Trocheck, I think that he's definitely a really solid second-line, first-line center, and could be a guy who could score some pretty efficient goals for the Rangers. And if they're going to beat the Hurricanes, they need goals from Trocheck, especially. Chris Kreider, 39 goals, 36 assists, 75 points in the regular season, had 3 points in the playoffs. Kreider's that guy that can score you the often power play goals, so I think if you're looking at Kreider, he's the guy you want to have for the Rangers and has a knack for scoring for sure. Adam Fox, 17 goals, 56 assists for 73 points. He had 2 points in the playoffs. I think Fox is definitely going to get on the board a lot in this series. I think that definitely he'll score some goals. But I think for sure, if the Hurricanes want to beat this team, they're going to need to find a way to beat Adam Fox, because he's definitely one of the best defensemen in the NHL, and it's going to be hard to beat him. And finally, Mika Zibanejad. Zibanejad with 26 goals, 46 assists for 72 points. He has 7 points in the playoffs. So Zibanejad actually leads the team in playoff scoring, has 6 assists, so has been passing a lot. But one thing that I've been concerned with is Zibanejad's scoring. He hasn't scored a ton in the regular season and in the playoffs, not like what we've seen before. So that's definitely a worry. But I do think that if Zibanejad can get going, they can definitely beat the Hurricanes. Now, even though the Rangers have all this top-end talent, it doesn't mean the Hurricanes don't. Sebastian Aho, 36 goals, 53 assists for 89 points. He had 3 points in the playoffs. So the thing is, Aho hasn't had to be that player that we've seen him in previous years in the playoffs. Only 3 points, I'd say that's kind of low for him, but still, they played really well. So it shows that maybe they don't need Aho to be spectacular for them to win a playoff series. And I definitely do think that in this second round, if they want to be the Rangers, Aho's going to need to show up. It's definitely one of the bigger things. Jake Guentzel. Guentzel was a deadline acquisition at the trade deadline. Has looked awesome for them. 30 goals, 47 assists for 77 points. In the regular season, split with the Penguins and the Hurricanes, he had 4 points in the playoffs. So I think that in terms of, we know Guentzel can score. We know Guentzel can score in the playoffs for sure. I definitely think in this series against the Rangers, he's going to get on the board a lot. I think he's a player that has that offensive knack, has that talent. I think he's going to score regardless of what the Rangers do. Seth Jarvis. Jarvis had 33 goals, 34 assists for 67 points in the regular season. He had 7 points in the playoffs. I've talked about before in so many videos saying how valuable Seth Jarvis is. I still stand by that. I think if the Hurricanes want to win this series, Jarvis is going to need to get on the board. But for sure, I think Jarvis 100% will. He has just such rapidly improved as an amazing player as these years progress on, and I think that he's just going to get better and better. Teravainen, fourth in scoring, 25 goals, 28 assists for 53 points. I think Teravainen, again, had a pretty solid series as well. He had 4 points in the playoffs. So Teravainen's always been that player who will get you the on and off goal, the clutch goal. So I think that definitely, with Teravainen, they're going to need to do that. And then finally, Marty Necas, 24 goals, 29 assists, 53 points, and then 5 points in the playoffs. So, again, I think Necas had a really good regular season too, a good playoffs. And I think that definitely he's a young player who can definitely score some and get some on the board for the Hurricanes for sure. Other players from each team that I think is worth mentioning, you got Jack Roslovic. Roslovic got himself a pretty good first round, had 4 points in the playoffs. So I think definitely that's something you want to keep an eye on. A guy who was acquired at the deadline for essentially nothing has been really solid in that first round for the Rangers. Alexi Lafreniere has been a good point scorer in this playoffs. I think he has 4 assists. So he's a guy you want to watch out for there too. And then Matt Rempe. Rempe will definitely make some headlines. Will definitely fight players. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to fight Stefan Noasen. That's without a doubt what's going to happen. But I definitely think that Rempe will definitely make a name for himself once again in this second round of series. Other guys for the Hurricanes, I got Brady Shea. Shea's not a bad defenseman. Had, I think, 4 assists in the first round against the Islanders. Evgeny Svechnikov. Svechnikov's not even on the board here for top 5 scorers, but he had nearly a point per game when missing 30 games. He played really well overall in that first round series. I think he's a guy to watch out for sure. He is that creative offensive playmaker that you need to watch out for. And then Evgeny Kuznetsov too. We talk about how Kuznetsov is the player that overall, like when he was in Washington, he wasn't that great. Comes to Carolina, scores 4 points in the playoffs, had that penalty shot goal. But I think definitely when you're looking at Kuznetsov, he's that fourth line depth center that they kind of needed, and that veteran experience too. So I like that move a lot, and I think that definitely helped him out. In terms of goaltending, you have Freddie Andersen. Andersen missed the majority of the regular season, which is kind of why his stats are so bloated up. He has a 13-2 record, a 1.84 and a .932. So he had a great regular season. He went 4-1, a 2.25 and a .912 in the playoffs. So one thing I've noticed is when Andersen is on, he is on. He is an amazing goaltender. He definitely can hold the Hurricanes in games, and I think that for sure, if the Hurricanes want to win this series, Andersen's going to need to play his best for sure. And then you got Igor Shesterkin. Shesterkin with a 36, 17-2 record, a 2.58 and a .913 in the regular season. In the playoffs, he had a 4-0 record, a 1.75 and a .931. Above all, I like Shesterkin. He had a great playoffs, a good regular season too. I think that definitely, as I said with Andersen, Shesterkin's 100% going to need to show up, because if he doesn't, the Rangers are in trouble, 100%. Because he's a big part of why this team does win. I know they have a lot of top-end talent. Their defense is solid, but I think Shesterkin plays a massive role in why this team has made it to the second round this year and why they've been so consistent over the regular season. So in terms of everything else, who do I think is going to win? Honestly, this series could go either way. I think it does go 7. I really do hope it does go 7, because I definitely want to see this series go that long. These are two teams with great offensive talent. They play game 1 tomorrow. I'm going with, I guess, the upset. I'm going Hurricanes in 7. I think that the Rangers have fought hard, but I feel like the Hurricanes, I think this is their year. I feel like this is their year to go far. And I think the Rangers are going to need to focus on the work ethic because they didn't get outworked by the Capitals, but they definitely got worked. So I definitely think that if they're going to win, they need to outwork Carolina in those net battles and those, one-on-one battles. They need to win those. So that's definitely something that I think needs to happen. But regardless, that is my round 2 preview for the Rangers and Hurricanes series. Let me know your prediction and your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. But regardless, I got Oilers Vancouver tomorrow. Hopefully that game 1's not tomorrow. I'll be so mad. But regardless, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.